Oh, my favorite part of Disney Springs is definitely all the restaurants on the water. I mean, I love the water, but all the restaurants that are out there. I can't name them off the top of my head. Also, because when we were in the DCP, I couldn't afford to go there, but they looked great. Like I know I would have enjoyed. I would. I went to one.
For all who comes to this goofy place, welcome.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on the Goofy Scoop podcast. Gray and I here, of course, and today we have our first ever guest, AJ. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is AJ. I've known Jeff and Gray for too long. About 2 years for Jeff and
forever for Gray.
Forever for Gray. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, probably since middle school. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I met AJ on the DCP. I think I've mentioned that before. If not, I mentioned it just now. AJ, go ahead and give a little bit of a backstory as well when it comes to your DCP experience, because you worked at Disney Springs. So if you want to give a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah, so we did it the fall of 2019. I started right after graduating college. I was in the transportation department working at the Sassagoula River Cruise as a boat captain. So I worked driving the boats in between Disney Springs and a lot of the resorts that are down there, like Port Orleans, Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, and the Treehouse Villas.
Yes, which would you have traded your DCP job for any other job?
DCP job I wanted to do.
No, just
being
that
a
one?
face character, that could have been fun. I feel like you get a lot of high
I can see you
status,
doing that as well.
and I think they get paid more. So,
but yeah, like when Gray and I visited you on the boat, like you handled yourself very well, especially with all of your dad jokes and everything like that.
I
it
love
was great.
The jokes. We also had the best
was
costume.
cold.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was cold those nights. Oh my god, that was awesome.
Yeah, it went right over the headphones.
Yeah.
Everyone knows all Disney cast members wear headphones and two hats.
But yeah, those nights where Gray and I would meet you on the boat, those were good memories that we'll remember forever for sure. But speaking on your Sassagoula River DCP job, let's go ahead and talk about Disney Springs, because you know what Disney Springs looks like backstage, everything like that. So not necessarily that we're going to talk about backstage. I don't want people to know some of the magic going on, but you know most when it comes to Disney Springs out of our group. So, I mean, anything interesting, anything cool, anything you want to kick this conversation off with?
I think Disney Springs is the most unique part of the property because it's not all Disney. The idea behind it is focused around, hey, we have individuals who are leaving the Disney World to go to outlet malls. They're leaving to go shopping or to different restaurants. Why can't we provide something like that on the park, within the park, that allows them to do that so they don't have to leave Disney World? They can still go to their Sephora's or to go and look at different shops and outlets that might not necessarily be Disney themed, but things people want to do on vacation. So it's not just, hey, here's a Mickey Mouse teddy bear, here's a ride you can go on. It's, hey, this is some real life stuff. It's just a nice shopping center, a nice atmosphere to hang out in. And I just think it's a big mix of, hey, this is Disney, hey, this is the real world thrown together.
Okay,
Yeah.
So other than the Sassagoula River and the boats, what's your favorite part of Disney Springs?
Oh, my favorite part of Disney Springs is definitely all the restaurants on the water. I mean, I love the water, but all the restaurants that are out there. I can't name them off the top of my head. Also, because when we were in the DCP, I couldn't afford to go there, but they looked great. Like I know I would have enjoyed. I went to one. But the restaurants are so cool.
Yeah. Dude, I do wish that we did make a little bit more money, or I wish that I was able to save more money before I went. No, because I was not aware how expensive it was going to be. Because I remember even through my park walks, or like walking past the Brown Derby, during my shifts or on an ECV run, whatever the case was, I'd be like, must be nice. Wish I could go there. I'll just go to Wendy's 4 for $4.
Wendy's 4 for $4.
It was so
I got one of those every night.
We
That's
had
what
people
Disney
at the
Springs-
DCP maxing their credit cards.
That's true.
We won't mention names.
Yeah,
He's
we all
not
know.
here, but we won't mention names. That's what Disney Springs needs is a Wendy's. I'd be at Disney Springs way more if they.
You would bring the class down of Disney Springs from 10 to like a 3. If
There
you
was a
No.
chicken guy. That was the lowest they went.
There was a chicken guy. There was a
Chicken guy needs to go.
Hey, Kylie loves chicken guy.
I'm sorry, Kylie. Chicken guy needs to go. Dude, it's generic chicken with 1,000 sauces.
It's not that great.
You know what a salad is? What's the difference between a ranch, a house salad, and a Caesar salad? It's just the dressing.
I think it's different
Kind of.
lettuce. There's
Depends on the topping.
Caesar
croutons.
salad's a little bit different because there's like specific cheese, specific like things on top. A house
and
salad.
that's
normally
my
has, like, tomatoes
podcast,
and
folks.
cheese.
We have a cooking podcast over there where we discuss salad types. You check that out on Tuesdays at 7.
You owe me $5 for that slip in.
Yeah, I'll pay for that. I'll also
That's a
start that
great idea.
podcast.
Yeah, you got my Venmo. But no, yeah, okay. So when it comes to, like when you would take breaks and stuff, would you be able to just go get food anywhere? Like, did you have to throw a sweatshirt on or like a hoodie on over your costume and you could just go to any restaurant, or did they have like specific break rooms that you could like go to?
There were specific break rooms, but a lot of the break rooms were shared with the restaurants. Right behind Morimoto's was the biggest break room. That's where I would always go. So you go, you pull over, and then you'd change in the cast area, and then you'd walk over all around Disney Springs. So if there's events going on, sometimes like the Christmas Creek Festival, I would go walk around that. But right behind Morimoto's is the really central area of Disney Springs. Take a break there, go maybe walk at Blaze Pizza or other things. But there's actually tons of different little ones sprinkled around behind different restaurants that we could all technically go to. There were just ones that were frequented more.
Okay. Yeah, because I think if we were able to just go to any restaurant, if I worked at Disney Springs, I'd be going to Earl of Sandwich all the time.
There was always a
You
long
talk
line.
about Earl of Sandwich so much, and I never had it. But like, you're the only person that I've ever heard that's like, wow, Earl of Sandwich, that's the best.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a very generic sandwich, but it just holds like a very valuable spot in my heart because that's the first spot that I ate once I got to Disney Springs as soon as the DCP started. So it's just like Earl of Sandwich. Let's go see Earl.
There's one here at Downtown Disney.
Is there?
Earl of
Dude,
Sandwich.
okay. Speaking of Downtown Disney, since you're like what, 15 minutes away from Disneyland right now?
35.
Yeah, that wasn't mentioned. AJ lives in California, by the way.
Yeah, must be nice. If you can't tell
You know
about
my-
the foliage behind
My
him,
palm tree.
it's smacked it. But yeah, so how do you guys feel about them changing it from Downtown Disney to Disney Springs?
I personally think it sets it apart. Like, it was Downtown Disney at Disney World, but also Disneyland. But now it's set apart between Downtown Disney at Disneyland and Disney Springs at Disney World.
Okay.
I think there has to be a reasoning why one kept Downtown Disney and the other one didn't, instead of them both going through a rebrand. And I mean, Downtown Disney is much smaller than Disney Springs. So it's very interesting to see why that got kept the name. I think Downtown Disney almost fits better at Disney World, but I guess it has like a Springs design around to it. So I'm not sure what they're going for or what the reasoning is behind it. But I do agree with Gray. It's definitely a distinguished.
Yeah. I mean, I do wish that they did flip the names, because when it was Downtown Disney, I loved it. I love that name. And I, even halfway through my program, I was like, you guys want to go to Disney Springs? Like, I would always do that. And I wonder if it has to do anything as well with maybe the bottling company.
The
'Cause
Disney
isn't it
Springs
like-
bottling company?
Yeah, I wonder if they maybe did something like that. And it is like a Springs kind of theme thing too. But like AJ said, though, I feel like Disney Springs has more so of a downtown feel, and Downtown Disney is so much more smaller. They should have just named that Disney Springs, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Downtown Disney is almost big enough to have its little suburbs. You could have like the Springs area, you could have the shops area, all these different segments of it. But
Which there are kind of like
Mhm.
spots in Disney Springs. I mean, there's like the marketplace, I don't know what they're all called, the West Side, I don't know what it's all called, but like
yes.
there's
Those are
like
different
there are
dots.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could ride
There's
the
not
boat
like set
between the
boundaries,
taxi.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, the marketplace, West Side. What they call the middle one? I can't remember.
You should know all
The
these.
one
You
with,
work
like-
there, okay?
Well, it's been
With, like,
closed. It's
Sephora
still
and
closed
everything?
right now. Yeah, the
Disney
center.
Springs?
No, it's the Sasagula River Cruise, not operational.
Oh, true.
non-operational.
Non-operational.
Yeah.
Hello, folks. Our boats are under maintenance. I imagine they have one staff member that just sits there and says, "Sorry, folks, not today."
The last
Possible.
couple trips I went on, they didn't have anybody at the docks or ports, whatever we want to call it. They just had them roped off and said, "Sorry, currently closed," or "Sorry, under something." Something just letting people know that they were closed. But I don't know. It was very, very weird not seeing that running the last couple of vacations as well. But
Okay. So I just looked it up. I was like looking down for a while. That's why I just looked it up. So Disney Springs opened as Disney Springs in 2013. So like it's a fairly new rebrand. But when Disney Springs opened as Disney Springs, there were 75 new dining and entertainment venues.
So it was an expansion.
So yeah,
thing.
it wasn't Disney Springs was not
Ah.
as big, or Downtown Disney was not as big. Disney Springs like expanded and opened a lot more. So that like could have been part of it. I don't know.
so do you think that they should go bigger, or do you think Disney Springs is big enough?
I personally think it's big enough.
I think it's big enough, but do you think they should focus more on Disney stuff or focus more on shops? Like where should the focus be? Shops and restaurants? What kind of experiences do people look for when they go there?
I wish
The
that
problem
what,
is
yeah,
that
go ahead, Greg.
there's like Disney Springs is free to go to. You can just park and walk in. People pay for the Disney experience. So if you're paying to give the Disney experience, how much of that experience do you want to give for free, basically? Like the main area is going to be World of Disney and like the D style store or whatever, but it's really not that much of it's just like a couple stores within the marketplace. But how much of that are you willing to give away for free? I think that is the question.
I think you add more paid for shows like Cirque du Soleil and the experiences. Like if you go to the City Walk at Universal, you could pay to go see the Blue Man Group. You can go and see live performances at Margaritaville. There's actual events and shows that go on, but they're paid for, similar to like a Vegas style experience. Like, hey, there's a comedian performing over here. Hey, there's a magic show that at this time here. There's more events, but they're still not necessarily free. But the things that, hey, I would do them on vacation.
But
It
do you
brings
make
people
them
there.
Disney? Do you make them Disney? Like, do you do a Disney Cirque du Soleil show? Or do you say go to Animal Kingdom and watch the Festival of the Lion King?
Well, the Cirque du Soleil show is already there. It wasn't there when we were doing our
Right.
program.
But is it themed Disney?
I say no because I think it's Disney's chance to have not Disney. Someone's like, hey, I'm here for 10 days at Disney. I'm getting a little tired of the Fab Five characters. I'm getting a little tired of going to the park. Let's do something different tonight. Let's just go watch a magician. Let's just take a break from that. And Disney Springs or Downtown Disney allows you to take a break from Disney while still being within the park's boundaries.
Yeah, you can go find Disney if you want Disney at Disney Springs. If you want to escape it, you can also do that very easily as well. Did you go to Circus, however you say it, Circus
Cirque du
Soleil? I'll say
Soleil.
Circus Soleil.
I went as a kid with my parents. So 2010, 2009, I would say.
Wow.
Okay. No, it was the Blue Man Group that you went to at City Walk.
At City Walk. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. No, because if you do you remember a whole lot of Circus Soleil?
I just remember not liking it because I was a kid and they don't talk the whole time. It's just like acrobats, and after 5 minutes, I'm,
Yeah.
wow, I can see this on YouTube.
It's a stunt show. It's a stunt show. It's just it's music and like people folding into weird positions. That's
yeah, it's like a circus.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
You know what I do like though? It's right next to that arena or stage, whatever we want to call it, is the House of Blues. That's really good for our age group.
Mhm.
They have a lot of concerts there, which I think is good and unique.
Yep. Live music is always good. Live music and alcohol for our age group is awesome. Because we went there for a little bit during our New Year's. Surprisingly, we remember it, but I think we stopped there
Wow, what
for just a
time.
little bit. in for a bathroom break. I know. I would. Gray. I wish you and Kylie could have made it.
So,
It would have
It's okay.
been great
so
if
this
all
is a
6 of us
podcast
were there.
pause. Is it a bathroom break?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
No, remember we went there we went to the House of Blues for a restroom break and we hung out for a little bit there.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted a restroom break. I was like, oh, we've been going for 20 minutes, but that's fine.
Oh no, I'm good. You wouldn't know.
Okay.
I would just go. I would just go in my chair.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Next episode, we'll talk about the best bathroom route with all of Magic Kingdom. This one's a fan with the older community. Please make sure to tune in and make sure to get your maps ready.
We're getting a little bit off topic, but I'm gonna say this anyway. Gray and I have actually talked about that before about bathrooms. It's like which bathrooms to hit. Which one would you go for number 1 and which one would you go for number 2? Because everybody does it. You know, you can't hide it. But we have talked about that before. So AJ, if you are interested, you might want
bring
to
it
show
back
up
to
again and
Disney
talk about that.
Springs. The marketplace bathroom was always packed, and that was the one that we would use as boat drivers. So we'd come off, and it was the closest one there. But don't use that one because it's always packed with people leaving and coming into the Springs. You go a little bit further in by Jock Lindsay's hangar bar. That bathroom, pristine. I mean, they're all pristine. It's Disney, but no one's there.
No one's there. It's quiet.
Pristinely quiet.
Now
Quiet,
we
calm. They pipe in nice music, lavender scents.
we're talking about House of Blues, and I do have to mention, time for the first hot take of the night. Right across from House of Blues, the NBA experience, not that great, my friends. Not that great.
I never went. I know you guys went.
Yeah, we went. It took us 30 minutes to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, there
I
were
think you
no
guys
lines.
invited me, but I had work.
There were
At
no
least
lines
that's
when
the
we
story
went.
I want.
So like it was good that there were no lines because I would not have want to wait in line for things there. But like it was just dumb. I don't know. I thought it was dumb. It was for children. If you are taking a child to Disney Springs, that's where you go. Don't go other than that.
Even if you're a big NBA fan, it was a couple of basketball courts. They played different basketball games. They taught you how to dunk, how to dribble.
Yeah.
And then
My
you could
brother
lower the
loves
net.
basketball, and I took him when my family came down to visit, and he was like, cool. Like he wasn't
But-
super interested in it, and he's a big
Ha-
basketball fan.
How old is he?
16.
It's
was-
because he's at
he
that
was-
age where he cares, but he just doesn't
Or
want to
15,
show he
14.
cares.
But I think that's
I
what the
don't know.
NBA experience is designed for. It's not meant for little kids. Like you have to be able to really play
Yeah.
basketball or at least be able to hold a
Be
basketball.
into it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Because they even check your vertical, right? Like there's like a vertical test where you
Yeah.
jump and like
Yeah. They measure the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you do like you're going through the NBA combine, so they test how many
Mhm.
free throws you can make in a minute, how high you can jump, what's your wingspan, all those things.
okay. So I would fail.
Yeah, they walk in. Hey, you don't.
No,
Yeah.
sorry. You just don't come in here.
No.
Hey, we'll save you 30
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. I'm gonna go bowl. Which hot take? Do you guys think that should be at Disney Springs? Speaking of like,
Bowling
should
alley?
we keep it Disney?
I don't
I
like bowling, but I think it should be there. It's something you do
Think
on
so?
vacation. A movie theater also. I don't want to go to the movies when I'm on vacation, but I think a lot of people do, and I think it's the perfect place.
Speaking of movies,
Yeah.
I felt so fancy. I don't know why, because it's just a movie theater, but I felt so fancy going to see Frozen 2 when it like first came out at the Disney movie theater. I was like, I am premiering this movie at Disney World, and this is the place to be right now.
I wonder if they did like, well, AJ, you might know. Did they ever do like a cast member special for Frozen 2 for Disney Springs cast members only? Because I know they have, like, for instance, like with the Magic Kingdom show, I don't know what it's called yet, after Happily Ever After. I know that
They make a
they
new one?
let, sadly, yeah, it goes away. It goes away at the end of
October
September.
1. Yeah,
Oh, is it going to be for the
October 1.
50th anniversary? They're going to
Yeah.
debut a new
But
one?
they're not
bringing back.
they're not-
Happily.
They're not bringing Happily Ever After back. So they're
Ah.
going to do the 50th anniversary one and then probably do something else.
The sequel, Sadly Ever After. In the wake of the pandemic, we came up with Sadly Ever After.
Which, by the way, I want to mark this as well. We are not behind on the news. By the time this gets posted, everything has already happened. We're just
that's true.
recording in
That's true.
advance. I just want to put that out there.
Just I'll pretend to talk and then put some other words over my mouth.
It's gonna look like a foreign film.
I'll take this bet now. New show, 10 out of 10. Better replacement. Even more magical.
Dude, I don't know.
I love Happily Ever After.
I only saw it
So good.
once the whole time I was there.
Are you kidding me?
My last night there, I saw it.
It wasn't even like special to you
Did you-
then.
Did
But I've
you
never
cry?
seen it. It was special.
It was
It was the
Did you
last
cry,
night I was at
AJ?
Disney. I bawled like a baby.
yeah.
Did you?
I definitely Jeff, when we were watching it, I definitely cried.
I know you were crying because you were sniffling right next to me, and I was like, "Dude, don't
I
you do it."
was.
I'm over here.
I
I
was
was like,
so
I was like,
sad.
I was like, dang, I made
Dude,
all
don't
these
you-
friends. I gotta leave. I think I cried more at Miller's though. After we got those cheese fries, and I was like, I can't have cheese fries after work anymore.
They need to add
I
a
still cried
Miller's
after that.
at Disney Springs. That's what they need to do. Bring Miller's into Disney Springs.
"Oh,
would
that'd be
make it
dangerous."
killing.
You'd see so many people in costume at that Miller's. They'd have to put a rule against that one.
Probably. That's
But
true.
to answer your question about movie premieres or anything with Disney Springs, there aren't a lot of Disney cast members in Disney Springs. The only ones I can
guess
think
it's
of are the
third party.
security. Yeah, it's mostly third party, like security and hospitality or the cleaning staff are a lot of the only Disney cast members. For instance, I worked there, but I was part of Port Orleans. That's where we were based out of. We went to the Port Orleans site. So a lot of the cast members that you see in downtown or Disney Springs are third party.
Okay, so I've actually never put that together. So technically, your job description or like your job title or whatever we want to call it is technically resort transportation.
So we were in the transportation department, and then yes, we were in transportation, and then our office and based out of location was we're at Port Orleans. So each major resort or major park has their own like staffing area where there's the back stage and admin, and we were based out of Port Orleans. So anything I had to do would be I'd go to the Port Orleans area to start my day, end my day, parking, all of that stuff would take place there.
I remember having to drop you off there one time when you had your bumper incident, which I'll never forget. We'll talk about that later, but
I'm sorry.
Everything's better than my incident at Disney, so it's
yeah,
all good.
nobody needs to flip a car like you did.
No. Gosh, that could be a
Hey,
whole
at least you got to
episode,
ride a
car
ride that
incidents.
nobody else got to ride at Disney.
Very funny.
The ambulance.
Wheel special.
Uh,
But no, like when it comes to Disney Springs, I just saw this in my peripheral, so now I have to bring it up. I actually have. I got this from Cash Connections. It's like the bottling. It's the Springs Mineral Water Bottling Company. I got this for 50 cents. I thought that was pretty cool.
And you didn't buy multiples and give me one? Rude.
They only had one left, which sucks
Figures.
because I would have bought all 20 of them if there was 20 of them. But no, like when it comes to Disney Springs, AJ specifically, is there anything that you cannot stand at Disney Springs? Like you see it and you're like, why is this even here?
Thinking shops wise, or what are we thinking? Like,
Just anything.
there's nothing that I couldn't stand. It was everything you normally expect.
Not even like that tiny carousel over by the Christmas shop. I think it was annoying.
Tiny carousel.
Don't ruin it for the kids, Gray.
Gray was like, "Oh, happiness." Oh.
Gross.
They're so happy and smiling.
He's
Ugh.
like, happiness should stay in the parks. This is the adult place.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Yeah,
And Gray's like, it was an ominous depression the whole time there. Gray would love it.
Yeah. If Gray took charge, he'd be like, get rid of the carousel. You know what? Think about it again. I'm going to get rid of the train.
Burn it. Light it on fire.
I think I'm not a big shopper. So I think there were a lot of shops that weren't unique. It was a lot of just major brands. I think it would have been cool to have it's missing some unique things. Everything is very commercial. There's no mom and pop shops. And yes, it's probably super expensive to be in there, but there's definitely an opportunity you don't want it to become a farmer's market. That's not the vibe they're going for. But I think more unique business is something that you wouldn't expect to find. I
feel like having a store at Disney Springs is just like having a store in Times Square. Like the point of having a store there is not to make money. It's just to be like, look, we have a store here. and like
Exactly.
to have like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, because there is that one strip. It's not called the marketplace.
The one that
But
looks like
I
an
don't
indoor
remember
train
what
station. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's some high-end stores right there.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But it's like
What's that area called?
That's not Sephora. It's
They're not
Like
like out of the
Sephora,
cuts high end.
Zara, all that
Yeah, there's
stuff.
there's
Um,
Zara, Tommy Bahama, Sperry's.
the Vera
Like, they're not-
Bradley stores there. The
Columbia.
Columbia stores there too. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I'm gonna
not
have to look it up
high
real quick.
end. They're very doable for families on vacations. You're not seeing
Yeah.
things that you would see on
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue or Rodeo Drive. You're not going to see all those
Yeah.
different. Yeah, there's no Versace.
And then coming from the
and
Lime
Gucci.
Garage, you walk through the little train station area, and then you pass it, and to your right, Chicken Guy.
Wetzel's pretzels and
Yeah.
yeah. Turn the corner and you run into some frosted tips and some chicken sauce.
I've got beer.
Have you guys ever been to the? I mean, it's right across the way, so I was just gonna bring it up. The Coca-Cola place, right? The Coca-Cola store.
I never went
I
in that.
mentioned this on a past episode because you told me that the bar, like going up to the rooftop, was free, and I was mad that I never went because I didn't know it was free to go up there.
Yeah. I went up there on one of my recent vacations and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, this would have been super cool for my friends and I to go up there the multiple times we went to Disney Springs,
So what's
especially at
on the
nighttime.
rooftop? What's up there?
It's basically like a Coca-Cola bar. Like, I don't think they had
What are you
alcohol.
drinking tonight?
I'm
Coke.
at, yeah, vanilla Coke.
Oh, I got sherry.
I'm
Wait,
feeling
then you're mixing 'em.
frisky. I'm getting vanilla.
Okay, so
I'll bring the Mentos.
I know we talked about it at one point. I never did it. AJ, I don't know if you ever did it, but did either of you ever do the hot air balloon? That's like the only ride that I never did
Oh,
that I like wanted
we wanted to do it for New Year's.
And it
I
was
wanted
closed?
to do it so many. It's so weather dependent because all the
Yeah.
boat staff, all of us DCPs wanted to go ride it one day, and we were very disappointed to find out it was closed due to weather. And it makes sense. You're in a balloon, but it's also
I mean,
also never operational. They're I don't know how it's profitable because it's always down due to weather.
Yeah. It is
weather
very
in Florida,
touchy.
you can't really control it. So it's just always raining and windy there. So
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
also weird because,
remember.
like, you'll walk outside and it's like a beautiful day, but then 30 feet up in the air, it's windy as all get out. So like it's down for weather. And then everyone's like, why is it down for weather? It's a perfect day. But like that's really why.
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't think about the 40-foot buildings blocking all the wind.
Yeah, well, it's true.
So, but yeah, I remember AJ mentioning how he wanted to do that for New Year's. And that would have been really cool to go up there and see all the different fireworks from all the different parks while we were there. That would have been neat.
Yeah, we did it from the boat. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it wasn't high enough. It was still cool.
It was a little low. Yeah.
But yeah, I do
To watch
remember
fireworks from the boat. That's really cool.
Yeah, I remember AJ was at work one time and I remember sneaking into his room real quick and reading his diary. And he said something about
That was you.
wanting to get it. It was, yeah, I forgot to lock it. He mentioned something about how he wanted to get a New Year's kiss from me up in the air balloon.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I think that's
dang.
why he was trying so hard for New Year's.
Yeah. It would have been weird on the ground, but up in the air would have been totally natural.
Up in the air.
It would have just been
So
up in the air.
Y'all are
What happens up in the
ridiculous.
air stays up in the air.
Oh my god.
Whatever. I just looked at the map, by the way, and that indoor train station section that we were talking about is called Town Center. It's amazing
Town
how
Center.
Yeah, it's amazing how we were there for a good amount of time, longer than obviously the average vacationer by a month and a half. But
Wait, you don't
or
stay at
five,
Disney for 6
5.5
months?
months.
You don't just pay for Disney and stay at Disney for 6 months? That's what I do.
If I had the money, I gladly would. But I'd probably be invested. I would probably have money into the park. But yeah, Town Center. I don't remember where I was going to go after that, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
I assume this is the direction you were gonna go. But when we're at Disney Springs and I'm like, hey, I'll meet you at this place or like near this area, I'm not gonna say I'll meet you at Town Center. I'll say
No.
I'll meet you at the Columbia store or I'll meet you at whatever. I'll meet
I
you
would
at
say
World
the
of Disney.
marketplace.
I would not.
But for me, that means the dock, the marketplace.
The marketplace dock.
Yeah,
that
but
makes more sense.
That was something I would intuitively think because when I say the marketplace, as to all the other captains and people I worked with, that was the marketplace. I don't know what the area around it was. The market. I never went in because I was just like, I stopped at the dock. I was like, hello, folks, come on, and I'd keep going.
I remember one time AJ was trying to help me on meeting him where his boat was going to be, but obviously he can't be texting all the time, so he had to like text me on break. He was like, "Oh, I'll be at." It was like one of your terms for like actual boating, and I was just like, doesn't help me at all.
Side at gonna be what nautical nautical miles an hour.
Yeah, I think he told me like port 7 or something. I was like, okay.
The first time I ever went to visit Disney, his coworker or Disney to go visit AJ, his coworkers thought I was crazy because I was like in line and they're like, "Here's your boat," and I was like, "No, I'll wait for the next one." And then like 3 more boats came, and I was like, "Oh, I'll wait." And the girl finally was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, my best friend is the one driving the boat." And she was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
You could have told her that.
Well, no, but I just thought it was funny. I was like, "No, just wait for the next one." He's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, this one just doesn't fit my fancy. I'm gonna wait for the next boat."
Well, no wonder she looked at you weird. That's like waiting for a specific person to cut your hair, and you don't. Oh, I'm waiting for George. You just nah. I'll wait. Over and over and over.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
That's good.
I do think that some of the, I mean, not all the memories, obviously, but there's at least 2 or 3 times that very good memories when we would join AJ on his boats. Like if it was a slow night, we would just drive over from Vista over to Disney Springs real quick. Because like there would be passengers. Yeah, like there would be passengers and guests that you would take from Disney Springs to Port Orleans or French Quarter or whatever. But on the way back, like it's like 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back, isn't it?
On the boat?
It's a long time.
It's a long trip. That was my favorite route. I hated the short ones because getting off, I just wanted to sit on the boat, talk, and drive. I didn't want to get off, get on. It's a lot of.
Do you remember any of your spiels? I'd love to hear one.
Do I remember any of my spiels? I took the one from the Jungle Cruise. That was probably the first one. Like as soon as you get off, like, "Hi, folks, my name is AJ, and I'll be your boat driver tonight. I'm not going to be your captain because captains have to go down with the ship, and folks, I'm not doing that."
I love the Cars one. Where you,
the Cars one?
Oh yeah, yep. We passed the.
Yeah, now we're just talking about all the ones that I didn't come up with. I have a whole list of ones I did. The Cars was another coworker's. So that one was we're going by a bridge, or we're going past one of the Saratoga Springs parking lot. Hey folks, if you've been to Disney World, you know it's a very world famous place. Lots of people from all around the globe come from all different walks of life. You might be able to see some Disney stars here too if you look carefully. It is the holiday time, so you might see someone famous. So keep your eye open. You can pause for a little minute, so it's so fresh in their mind and they're thinking about it. And so I said, folks, everyone look right now to your right. I think I see a famous Disney character. If you guys want to look, it's the cast of Cars. And it was just a parking lot.
I remember too, because there'd be times where people would be the boat's mood, was very shifty. I feel like sometimes they would be tired and they'd be like, "Okay, just get me to my room." And then there'd be other times where they're like, "This is the best boat captain ever."
Oh yeah, you had to read the room, so it was very much like you had to read the room and see what's going on.
Because I remember there was like one initial joke that you did at the very beginning. Like I remember Gray and I were on it, and you said the joke and nobody responded, not even like a cackle or a giggle. And you just like looked at me and Gray and said, "This is gonna be a quiet ride."
But that was the best part about that. I didn't have to make those jokes, so it wasn't like being a Jungle Cruise skipper. You have to be animated and be fun the whole time. It was tired. You could read the room, say, "Hey, you know what? Everyone wants to just be quiet. Just drive to the dock."
Yeah,
a lot of thinking.
Especially the later it got.
It was good when you could find a passenger that wanted to talk, so you could just talk about whatever's going on. Like, what do you do? Interesting. You just talk for 30 minutes.
The best nights when I didn't have to work and AJ was working, I would just go to Disney Springs. If I had nothing to do, I would just go to Disney Springs.
Just sit on the boat.
Yeah, you went a lot.
I did all the time.
It was great. You could just talk to people. A lot of the times the boats weren't at capacity, so you weren't taking anyone's spot.
Yeah. I just remember always sitting in the back when there was guests. Like if I got on the boat for the first time to like hang out with you guys, I would always just like go to the back. And then once everybody got off, Gray and I would just go sit at the front and we would just stay there. We would just have that spot for like the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. No one was riding the boat.
Yeah. And it's not like yeah, it's not like we were doing anything stupid too, like it's not like we were running back and forth while the boat was going. Like we sat there and we genuinely had like nice conversations, didn't distract you, didn't make you do anything stupid. Like
Yep.
it's very nice memories. Especially I think it was probably it was one of the last weeks. And it was when it was really hitting us hard to the point where like this actually ends. Like, like everybody says that it goes by super fast, but we were just like, okay, whatever. Like it's 6 months. Are you kidding me? And it's like the second or third to last week. And I just remember like sitting on the boat and I was like, dang, like I don't have this in a month anymore.
Yeah, it
Like
becomes
that got to me.
You get so used to it.
Yeah.
It's a good
Because
place.
I even remember too, like once I stayed there, because I stayed there a little bit longer for my extension and I didn't get to live there because of COVID and it just didn't work out. But I remember waking up in the middle of the night too. And I would be like asking Marco questions because he was my roommate, like I lived in the same room with somebody, slept in the same room with somebody for 6 months. And then now that I was in a room by myself, I'd wake up and just ask a stupid question and I'd like make a joke or something. And then like I didn't get a response. And I'd be like, oh yeah. Like it's weird. It's weird how we got so used to it.
Yeah,
But,
that was an interesting concept, how we shared rooms with other grown adults.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
It was, yeah,
think
it
that's-
brought it back to like college. I mean, it's a college program. Gray and I had just graduated. We were all like old enough where we were like, oh, this is
no
not what I
experience
wanted to do.
is as good as the Disney college program when you walk in and your roommate is 35 years old. You're like, what? What?
My girlfriend is 32, so chillax.
No. I'm not. Okay. Okay.
No, his
There's
roommate
a
was
big
way
difference.
different breed.
There's a big difference. But that is
Yeah.
a story for another episode. I know we are coming close on time, but still, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, a Disney roommate extra.
Oh yeah, dude, we definitely need to have. I mean,
George.
we're getting off the topic of the Disney Springs, but but we definitely do need to. We need to have the girls on here as well when it comes to talking about the DCP. I mean, we'll have many episodes about it, but I mean,
Ooh.
even like backstories. Like I don't know your story. I don't even think I know your story, AJ, on like like your little story on how it went to get to the DCP. Because you drove.
That's about it, yeah. Think about a day.
Well, don't undersell it.
I think I stopped at 7-Eleven twice. Had to
About
use the
10
bathroom.
hours, not about driving.
My brother was
Stayed
there.
hotel.
Well, like for instance, like like some people fly. Like for instance, my sister flew for hers, but I drove for mine. So it's just like our arrival story was just like so different compared to that.
Yeah, but Jeff, you had to drive like 3 days. AJ and I drove like less than 12 hours. And we were there.
Yeah. Like, all right,
Bro.
time to go.
I was gonna say I drove for 2. I think. Did Lauren drove for 2?
Lauren
maybe 3.
drove in a couple days. Kylie flew. Miranda drove. So,
Yep.
But we're getting off topic. Let's go back to
We
Disney Springs.
Very
We are.
true.
We're getting off topic.
We
AJ.
apologize.
They didn't pay
Again,
me to
we're-
talk about other
we're-
ones. I'm only on.
we're-
They only paid me for this.
We're getting close on
So
time.
far.
Favorite memory at Disney Springs, and then we'll close it out.
Okay. I want to say one thing. My favorite hidden thing about Disney Springs, that's not really that hidden, but it's something I really love, is you can run. There's a running path from Disney Springs all the way to Old Key West Resort. So if you park at Disney Springs or you park at Old Key West, you could run all the way down there, and it's probably about 3 miles. So it's like a 6-mile round trip. It was real nice. Yeah,
We know
I think
you're
maybe
a
little
runner.
long. Yeah. So
For everybody
I
that
love
doesn't know, AJ runs. I don't know why, but he runs.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Yeah, I'm exhausted right now. I did one right before this call. So
Good for you. Proud of you.
they do the Disney
I think
Marathon. That'll be one. We'll talk about
That
the
I would
Sophie.
do. That I would
not.
do. But when we were roommates and you'd be like, hey, Jeff, want to go run with me? I'm like,
2
no.
miles
But
in,
if you
Jeff would be like,
pass
"I'm
out,
dying."
when you wake up, let me know. I'll pick you up. But no, I'm not going to run.
Favorite memory, I think, was all of us hanging out on the boat, just late nights, probably 9,
Really?
10 p.m. I think it stopped at 10. I don't know, maybe 10 p.m. Just driving the boat.
The best. A crisp, cool night in Florida. The absolute best.
Okay. So to add on to that though, what would be your favorite memory without like friends, like just the job itself?
One night I was I think 11 o'clock the boat stopped. That sounds about right. Maybe 10:30. Couldn't tell you. Maybe let's say 10:30.
Yeah, 10:30.
So we're leaving. The boat's empty. We're not allowed to people over because we're gonna go dock the boats for the night. So I'm leaving Port Orleans. There's a boat ahead of me and a boat behind me, and we're in the middle. And then all of a sudden, this giant shooting star just goes over across the sky, and I'm just driving the boat. I look to my right, and there's a beautiful resort. I look up, there's a shooting star. I'm driving a boat for a living. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Wow. What a
Was that like
nice life.
was that pretty
probably,
early?
No, it's probably November, right before Thanksgiving.
So towards the end,
Good timing. Good timing.
when everything started getting real.
Ugh. All right, I'm not trying to cry. AJ, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, guys. And don't forget to tune into my cooking podcast. I don't have one.
That's another 5. You're up to 10.
$10. We pay big bucks on this podcast, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Lots
it
of
was definitely a good
sponsorship.
time. We'll definitely have to get you on again. I don't
Thanks.
think
Yeah,
we
definitely like
talked
to.
enough about Disney Springs, but you can only talk so much about Disney Springs. We're gonna have to catch up in another way. We'll talk about the Disney College program and some of our stories. We won't mention names, of course, but we'll dip into a little bit of our own stories and some funny things that happened at Vista Way, Patterson Commons, all of the Disney housing, all the parks, all that stuff. So,
And I'll give all the dirt on the hosts.
All the dirt.
okay, so AJ might not be back.
Thanks, folks.
But anyway, follow us on Instagram at the Goofy Scoop Podcast. Or it's just at the Goofy Scoop, not podcast. Be sure to follow us. We try to post weekly. Sometimes we don't. We're all humans. It is what it is, right, Jeff?
Yeah, at this point, I got gray clothes and follow me.
You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you real soon.